YouTube video. So for this video, I'm going to be walking you through the creation of this 24-inch by 24-inch painting of a stack of fluffy pancakes with sweet Canadian maple syrup. So as I mentioned in my last video, I'm kind of going with this theme of Canadian foods for Canada's 150th birthday. So I decided to tone my canvas this nice shade of purple because in my pancake photo shoot that I had the other day, there's lots of tones of these yellows and oranges, and purple and yellow are complementary colors. So what I started is, or how I started is, I painted my whole canvas this darker kind of shade, and then I wanted to create this vignette effect. So a light shade and then gradation from a light to a darker shade of purple. And that's actually how I start all of my little 3x3 paintings. Is I'll do like this kind of background that's one funky color with this vignette effect. So how I did it was I painted all the darker shade first, and then as the paint was still wet, I had to work very quickly, and I just dabbed my paintbrush in white acrylic paint and went in the very middle, and then used a kind of spiral effect to kind of blend it as moving outwards into the darker shades. And I find that this is actually probably one of the hardest parts of the whole painting, because working with acrylic paints, they dry so quickly, so you have to work very fast in order to get a nice even blend. Whereas oils, it's so much easier to blend because the paint takes so much longer to dry and you have so much more time to work with. So the background's all finished and I'm ready to start painting, so let's go! And here is the final product. So I'm very pleased with how this one turned out. I almost finished it in one day yesterday, but I had to switch studios and fill in the final details this morning. So as you could tell from the time-lapse video, how I began my other burger painting with an acrylic, a white acrylic underpainting. Just to get the proportions and everything just how I wanted it before I go in and start filling in the details of the pancakes. So I did the pancakes first, and it was just really a matter of mixing all the perfect shades of pancake colors, like these nice beiges and oranges and yellows and browns. And then that didn't cause me too much trouble, but the maple syrup was a bit of a challenge. However, I think that I did a good job. And how I achieved this maple syrup look was I used cadmium yellow and cadmium red of this Liquitex Basics paint, and with a mix of just a bit of burnt umber. And then I just really diluted the paint with water, so that I can go over top and just kind of map out where I wanted the syrup to go, with still achieving the effect of the pancakes shining through the syrup. And then it was just a matter of going in with different shades of the syrupy color, darkers and lights, just to give it a little more depth. And then at the very end, just adding these tiny little white specks, just to give it that really shiny look. And honestly, that's, I think, the most satisfying part in the whole painting, is just giving those tiny little details that just send it to a whole other level. So yes, I'm very pleased with how it turned out. And as I said before, I think that still the hardest part of the whole painting was painting the background, funny enough. just getting that even gradient was really difficult, and also trying to achieve this shadow look over here. So I'm still not 100% satisfied with how the shadow turned out. However, there is such thing as overworking a painting, and that is a dangerous thing, so I didn't want to play around too much with it in risk of just destroying the whole painting. So overall, I think that I'm just going to leave it. It looks good. And I decided that for this food series that I'm going to be working on, this Canadian food series, I'm going to add a little something different to each one of my paintings and do a tiny little Canadian flag right next to my signature. So that's going to be a unique thing for this Canadian food series. So now that I'm finished this one, I'm off to starting my next painting. So that means I have to go out and photograph some more Canadian foods. So yep, that's going to be fun. And yeah, if you have any more suggestions on which Canadian foods you think that I should paint next, I got an amazing suggestion on painting a nice Atlantic lobster for all of my East Coast Canadians out there. So thank you for that. And yeah, so if you liked this video, then give me a thumbs up. If you thought it was helpful or would like to see more, then subscribe to my channel. I'm Brooke Cormier, and I'll see you next time.